Hey, what's up, Yoon-Fam? It is I, Mark Yoon, and today I'm bringing another exciting video. So what I wanted to do is piggyback off of the last video that I was doing where we were talking about the expectations of the story for Soul Calibur VII. Now, I know it's still a ways off, but it's good to get these early speculation points in so that newcomers to the channel actually know where I stand on these things and what they can hope to expect if they're new into the series in general. So for basic newcomers out there, Soul Calibur VI was actually a reboot of the franchise, taking place in a brand new timeline. Now, obviously, this does not mean that it is actually in accordance parallel to the old timeline. It actually is a brand new timeline. So the last timeline started, finished, ended, and this new timeline began and branched off. So the first thing that we were talking about was the story, and now what's the most important thing for the story? Well, it's the characters, of course. I do believe that all of the characters that were in Soul Calibur 6 minus the guest characters obviously are going to make a return. The only ones that I'm a little bit unsure of is Amy, because this game is supposed to be the resurgence of Viola, though I do hope they keep her at least moveset in here for Create a Soul. It would be really awesome to see Amy versus Viola, but I think if they wanted to include her in a character, they could work it in a story where there's some kind of like internal battle between the two of them when like Amy realizes what's going on and how she's changing. Because we did see in her Soul Chronicle as well, with her in the orb trying to bring out that latent psychic abilities that she's known to have in this series. Which is a little bit of a reboot from before, but it's still sticking pretty canonical to like how it happened in the past as well. But so if we didn't have a character like her in the game, I would actually, a lot of people would be upset, like, right? But like, I think that that's the only one they can have an excuse of getting away with not having come back. The only other person I would say that might not play as big of a role, therefore wouldn't be in the roster, would be Aswell. There is going to be a whole new focus on this new team of villains, the Swords and Shepherds, led by Ishka Acht and sub-led by Nightmare, though I do not think that Aswell would have anything to do with something like that, because they're utilizing like maleficence and things like that, like manifested characters and people. This is going to be our reintroduction to certain characters from the past. I don't think anybody from Soul Calibur V is showing up, clearly, but from Soul Calibur, the prior Soul Caliburs to that, I think this is where we are going to see our SCVI and we are going to see Viola. Now, Viola has been lit up, so why do I say SCVI? Well, not only were they partners and came out in the same game in the last portion of the series, but SCVI is actually mentioned in the library of the encyclopedia part of Soul Calibur VI. I believe it's one of the things you get for unlocking somewhere amongst Libra of Souls, but he does have a new backstory in this new timeline. So it talks about where Gro is now, and like, SCVI is now, and apparently he is like 12 years old in this. So I don't think we're gonna get a huge time skip in the next game, because it's supposed to take place like shortly thereafter, but there is gonna be something to him be incorporated into the game that way. I do think they'll make him at least like a young adult, but we don't know how that's gonna happen yet. Magic, aging up, we just don't know. I do think that they're actually probably gonna get rid of his like whole stand werewolf thing. They're probably gonna have like a whole new moveset for him, and just realign the character for this version of the timeline, the same thing they did with like Hwang Sung Young and even some characters such as like Setsuka, even though she keeps a lot of her old assets and moves. But so I don't think anybody really is going to be taken out from there. Now, Season 3 of the DLC that was in the data, that's going to be an interesting one. Like, are they going to be in the base roster? Because these characters usually don't have too much to do with the story. So I can see Aeon 100% being in the base roster, just because the fact that you know that he was supposed to be in there. Like, the Lizards and Libra of Souls and some in the story mode actually have like full-on movesets that you can't utilize in the game. And they also are parts that the lizard race can't actually put on themselves. So there does show a tendency that Aeon was supposed to have been in this game, or at least the lizard man variation of the character before Aeon Calcos actually rose to prominence. So we can see from how that's going to be there. Now, the other characters that were data mined being Yoon Song and Rock. Rock is a legacy character, so I think a lot of people would want to see him be in. though there have been problems of how his backstory would be, but I don't think that's big of an issue. I think they'll just rewrite the backstory the same way they did with a lot of the characters in this new timeline, just to make it fit, and I think that's kind of looking at it in a very linear way. Like, he'll definitely come out, he'll just have a new backstory. So I do think that he will be part of the base roster as well. Yoon Song, I'm not too sure of, because Yoon Song's not technically a legacy character. Because before, the only character that was in the game in like Soul Blade and Soul Calibur 1 was Hwang Sung-young, and you know, Yoon Song was introduced later. Though some would consider him legacy, he wasn't from the first couple of games, so I don't know 100% if he's a necessity to be in. Though it would be nice to see the dynamic between a lot of the new Korean characters that they have introduced, such as Won Gobak and that lady who trained Hwang with the talismans. I forget what her name is off the top of my head. It would be nice to see that dynamic between them, especially because like it seems that Hwang Sung-young and Song Mina have like much more of a let's say love interest as opposed to just like a friendship like they were before. Like they were kind of like brother and sister before, the way they acted with each other, and now it's a lot more adult feelings and romanticism in there. So I'm not sure if Yoon Song is going to be in, but it could be a cool way to like shoehorn those characters into maybe moving forward with their relationship or whatever. Not that he'll be used as just a piece. It would be also cool to see that traditional Taekyon style come back, since Hwang Sung-young is now so far removed from the original Taekyon style. Now, I also think that there's going to other characters are going to play a larger role in the story also, you know, but I don't think anyone's going to be taken out. The only ones I think that would probably be maybe Amy and possibly Aswell, but I really don't see that happening, especially with Aswell being the one that's drawing out Amy's power to become Viola. So I think he's still going to be in there. I think Amy might be only the conclusion that's like taken out. Now, there's going to be an introduction of a lot of new characters because of the Swords and Shepherds, as well as a few returning ones such as SCVI and Viola, but I don't think anyone else is going to be making a comeback. Like I said in my last video, I don't think Algol is actually going to come back as a playable character in this game. I think we are going to see him possess Ishka Acht and like kind of embody her and use her to kind of dominate his will until he finds like a body or something in this timeline. So, but we'll see what happens with that. So I don't think he's actually going to be a playable character, not even as DLC. But I do think that where Curtis is coming back. He's like been back in the season 2. If you saw him come back, and he actually joins the Swords and Shepherds. Now I don't know if he's going to be an actual roster playable character or if he's going to be a bonus character that uses creation parts to actually create him, as we've seen them do in the past with certain characters. This goes as well for perhaps Ishka Acht, because Ishka Acht actually in the end of season 2 didn't even have her own character model. She kind of like just transformed into whatever character she was like utilizing the weapon style of, and Won Gobak was actually made with creation parts too. So I would actually like to see Won Gobak become a main part of the actual roster, maybe not his transformed state, but at least his original state. I think that is something that we will see. And that goes for the rest of the Swords and Shepherds as well. As long as like SCVI and Viola are playable characters, it's not really going to matter too much if the rest are used with bonus character creation parts. I think they'll still do just as much of a difference with the roster, as long as like they give them their own slots, you know what I mean? Like I do want to see like a bonus character slot, kind of like what 4 had, like when you can like select like Kamikira Musi and Shura and all those. But I don't know. I don't think beyond that we're going to be getting anyone from like new. We might get like a new character, like maybe one, just like Soul Calibur 6 had Aswell and Grow. I don't know if it's going to be a representation of another country or another weapon style per se. I would hope that it would be something like that, but you never know with this series, because like this is focused so much on narrative and characters at this point that like it's not like throwing something at the wall and just like creating zany crazy characters out of nowhere. But with that being said, guys, we're going to bring this video to a close. Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section down below. Do you think we're going to get any new characters, and who do you think will be possibly removed from the prior roster? And do you think you disagree with me at any of these statements? Let me know in the comment section down below, or we'll continue the conversation on the Discord. And thanks for watching and listening. And as I always say, I love it. Thank you.
Ezekiel.